How's it going, everybody? This is Arsenon, and this is a redo of my previous video. So in my previous video, I was actually sick, and because I was sick, I wanted to blow in my nose in the video. I sounded awful, but so I decided to go ahead and just redo it. And it's because I've actually gotten reached out to by a person who actually asked me for help after having watched my video. So I know my video is actually being seen. And I'd rather people actually want to watch it, so yeah, I'm redoing it. Anyways, so this is my tank. First and foremost, so the only reason I have 102 strength is due to one simple fact. I had enough for one more stat point, and all I could put it into was strength, so I said, fuck it, why not? So, I have maxed out vitality, 231 intelligence, maxed out agility. My dexterity is only enough to allow me to use my Bennett Nosh, and my luck is 175 just to increase my defense just a little bit more. And something I want to point out first and foremost is that vitality and agility are your main defense stats, and agility being your true main. And that's because agility gives 12 defense, vitality gives 8, but it also gives 20 HP, while luck gives 4. And this is per point. Nobody asked you to laugh. Alright. So, these are my weapons. So, if I'm actually truly trying, you'll see me switch to my Procyon. And it's because it's way better due to its plus 50% debuff stacking. So I'm gonna go ahead and equip that so I can show you guys my actual build rather than my partially trying. And this is my Bennett Nosh. So as you can see, I actually kept the weapon attack that it had on it because this was bounty. First and foremost, this was bounty, which is why it had 26%, and then it had the two damage versus, and then damage at max HP. So, however, because of all that, I decided to just take it as that was, leave the 26% because let's face it, 4% is not really going to change much in terms of weapon attack, so I just left that on. So I decided to not go for the 30%. I put overheat buildup and duration 27.50 because that is the actual maximum, and it's because when it comes to overheat buildup and duration, the lower it is, the better it is, because the higher it is, the faster it'll make it overheat. However, the lower it is, the longer you have until it overheats. That is also why if you have anything over 100% when it comes to overheat buildup and duration, it's completely useless. It's actually making it worse. Get rid of it and replace it with something else if you're able to. Again, but you only want overheat buildup and duration on a Gatling gun. Anything else, useless. I put the optical attack from the Procyon, as you can see, because this is bounty. You get this at 180 mil. And I also put the damage versus life forms 50% and the weak spot damage 50%. So my accessories are both bounty. I have the avoidance to death 110%. That was I actually I maxed this one out because originally it was avoidance to death when HP is 50% or more. It was 50% of max HP recovered over 1 minute. I think that was 10%. By that I mean the max HP. I think that was 10%. I could be wrong, but I believe that was the case. And the HP recovery was plus 50%. Now, my other accessory is the vitality plus 32, agility plus 32, HP recovery plus 150%, and max HP plus 32%. So the reason for this is because with actually, before I get into that, let me point something else out first. So, if you look at your defense, you see how mine says 6,516? Put a decimal point dead center. That is my damage reduction. I have 65.16% damage reduction, and that is before I buff. However, because of viral shot or any armor debuff, those completely overwrite your regular defense. So you always want to take that into account. However, because of this fact, you can actually negate the effects of a viral shot if you have somebody using nanotech 4 on you. Or, well, we won't fully negate it, but you'll diminish the effects to such a degree that it won't really matter as much. However, you won't encounter many people you playing support, so the likelihood of you ever running into somebody using it is incredibly low, so you never want to make a build in which factors nanotech in. Same with HP recovery. Well, HP recovery shot. Anyways, back to it. So my dexterity, as I pointed out, is specifically just enough so I can move my weapon. Alright, so anyways. So my reasoning for these two is because as soon as I load in, also, little piece of advice, always make your buffing or debuffing weapon your primary, so that way you spawn in with it in your hand, so that way you can immediately start buffing, or whatever you need to do. Make your actual weapon your secondary. And something I want to point out is that regen, if you ever take any level of knockback, stagger, or flinch, then your regen will be instantly negated for like 5 to 10 seconds, which can easily mean life or death. And especially if you're taking gunfire. If you're taking gunfire, then you're going to be constantly taking a bit of flinch every single bullet, and because of this, it'll just keep resetting that timer. Therefore, you will never regen. But if you have Human Fortress, then you'll become, since it gives hyper armor, even though it says you will not flinch when taking damage, it's not just flinching, it also removes your stagger and knockback. And it's because it just gives you hyper armor. Now, you should never use Human Fortress 2, 3, or 4, and it's because Human Fortress 2 gives you Armor Form 1, Human Fortress 3 gives you Armor Form 2, and Human Fortress 4 gives you Armor Form 3. So, my accessories actually complement each other. They also complement my first aid kit. In fact, only when my first aid kit is active do I get the actual full effects. However, like I said, if I ever take any level of stagger, knockback, or flinch, I will not be regenning because it'll be temporarily negated. That's also why Human Fortress is one of the most important skills in the game. At least, in my opinion. Alright, now that I've explained some things... Oh, actually, there's one more thing I should explain. So, some of you might have noticed that I have Shield Matrix 2. You might be thinking, why don't you use anything above that? You clearly could. Because first and foremost, Shield Matrix 2 gives you the full regen if you hold it long enough. However, Human Fortress 3 explodes, and so does Human Fortress 4. After the explosion, you are vulnerable, and you cannot move for a couple seconds. Which means that the enemies are free to just dome you. In other words, it becomes completely useless. I do not recommend using 3 or 4. Just use Shield Matrix 2. Because Shield Matrix 1 doesn't have the regen effect, but Shield Matrix 2 does. So, as you can see, I also have Healing Field Shot 4. This isn't for me, for the most part. This is mainly in case, like, I'm with other people, and somebody else is very low on... Somebody else's health is incredibly low. This is like a, I got you, don't worry kind of situation. And that's pretty much all I really need to be showing you. Alright, so now I'm going to actually show you how my build actually functions. Create room. I just needed one. Private on. Also make sure that I changed this to appear offline, so that way most of my friends don't just try and join it while I'm recording. And and that should be good. Alright. So, what I'm going to start by doing is I'm actually going to just hop straight into it. We're going to do special implementation alpha, and then we're going to do beta, and then we're going to do gamma. And it's because if I feel if I just do alpha, some people will be like, but if you see, alpha is the easiest one. I can do that in my sleep. Well, yeah. So why are you here? So my whole point of this video is to help people in order to get a better idea as to how they should be making tanks. And it's because I'm tired of seeing people pop up and be like, yeah, I'm a tank, and then they use taunting yell, get blasted to bits, and then they're like, I'm helping. No, you're not. Okay. Let's see. There you guys are. Apron will be spawned. Put this here. Something I want to point out is that you always want to be paying attention to your buffs. Also, try to keep a mental note as to how long they kind of last. Especially if you're a tank. Because having your buffs run out at a bad moment can mean death. Not the one I wanted to do, because I'm so used to not having that already up. Alright. Although I could do this the easy way, we're just gonna do this the fun way. Murder time! Come here, buddy. Alright, you're up, Asuna. Aww, isn't she adorable? I had to go for the disrespect and use my handgun. Well, I didn't have to, but I wanted to. Again, I don't have to do this, I'm just choosing to. Hey, boys. Everybody, you're gonna have to wait a moment. Now for the Kiritas. Hey, who the fuck said you could use that? I gotta shoot your tootsie. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Sword Berry doesn't work on the right foot. In case you guys noticed it, I was actually dodging the attack. So that because I didn't want to waste the time in order to use Twin Fortress. Thought I'd just tank that one. Anyways, I'm gonna use this. No, I don't think you will, buddy. No, I don't think you will. Something I want to note though, everything in Fatal Bullet can be dodged if you time it right. Some things just have a lot more difficult timing. Ow. Oh, I messed it up. Yeah, you ain't killing me like that, buddy. Hate to break it to you. No, I don't think you will. Get the first one going. I'm gonna use this. Oh, this is a great opportunity for a learning experience. That's why I didn't use my defense buff. So the reason well, actually I should go ahead and point out why that was learning experience. So I wanted to point out that even if my defense had run out, I still would have been okay. Alright. Now for beta. Beta's a little bit more annoying, but it's only doable. Now I'm not doing challenge because that's a whole other ballpark that just ain't fun. And I'll pass. If I had one other person with me, it wouldn't be bad. But I'd be the one doing the majority of it. It's just hard to maintain middle gauge in my weapon art when it's just me. And that is maintaining middle gauge and your weapon art and challenge is incredibly important. And now this. I tried. Some of you might be wondering why I don't use my weapon art until later. Long story short, I like to save it for the bridge. So that's when it actually becomes important. You can play this, this. Alright. You know, since they're all grouped up. Hey boys, now. I've asked you to calm down. Hey. And he's dead. Alright. Now I've even the playing field. Rude. Ow. Put that there. This here. And here. Down, one to go. Now the next one's a little bit more of a pain in the ass, but only because of the man-eater. Manhunter? Big red guy at the very start. Well, actually, no, I think... No... You'll know what I mean. Because I think it's the normal one, but regardless. So yeah, I don't think it's the red one. Anyways, point is, he's the reason why it's annoying. Everything else is easy for me. He just takes a minute. And once Gamma's done, then that'll be the end of my showcase. But yeah. None of that. Sorry, buddy, no flag things. Dog, be tickled. Alright, where did that come from? There you are, you son of a bitch. No funny business. Which is that? What I was hoping to avoid. Ow. Alright, it all gets easier from here. Oh, that's adorable. He thinks he can gun me down. I'm gonna do this first. Bird's like, oh fuck. Alright. Another one bites the dust. Aw, man. It's fine. A little annoying, but okay. Really? Yep, I saw that coming. Come on! God, it's gonna take so fucking long for it to wear off. Yeah, I'm gonna die here. You can't do anything about it. That is what. Long story short, I meant to hit fucking Kureha with that, but no, she didn't spawn in until after I fired it. It's fine. Very frustrating, though. I'm alright. I said this is very frustrating, though. I'm not gonna do this without my goddamn. You're dead first, bitch. This is where you perish. So I'm gonna have to ask you to stay still. Sir, stay still. Lost some of my fucking gauge, so I gotta make it up here. Wait. Now. Sir. I'm gonna have to ask you to fucking not. Wow. Nice. Real cool. I call this one fuck you. Where'd you go? Nobody said you could flee. Alright, Human Fortress should run out any moment. That's okay. There it goes. Knew it. And there we go. 3 for 3. Alright. So, there you go. There's my showcase of me using my tank in all 3. If you guys have any questions about, well, anything, feel free to message me on PlayStation. As you can see in the bottom left, that is my PSN. So if you guys have any questions, just feel free. I'm always willing to help out and willing to answer. Unless I'm doing something, in which case I will not be willing to help out. And if you spam me, I will block it. But if you ask me, I will be willing to help out. Again, it might not be immediately, because I might be doing something, but when I am free, I will be more than willing. And I'm always willing to give advice for builds. But regardless, this has been going on for 50 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. If you guys enjoyed, I'm glad. If not, rip. But regardless, have a good day, night, or whatever it is for you. Have a good one, everybody.